Jamie, and welcome to Design Dialogue hosted by Publis. This is your host Bhavya, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with Jaime Salvá, the studio founder of Jaime Salvá Architecture and Interior Design in Spain. Just to give a brief introduction about your studio, founded in 2006 by architect Jaime, this studio is based in Spain. Studio blends contemporary design with Mediterranean warmth. Rooted in a deep family legacy of construction and interior design, Jamie's passion for architecture was shaped from an early age. His journey took him from Barcelona to San Francisco, where he worked on high profile projects, including private residences. Since returning to Spain, Jamie had built a reputation for designing sophisticated yet functional spaces, whether for private clients, real estate developers, or international entrepreneurs. His signature style, contemporary Mediterranean, integrates local materials, clean geometries, and innovative design solutions. So thank you so much for joining us today, Jamie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So before starting the questions, I would like to inform you that this interview will be published on the website of Publis. So sign up to the Publis website and you'll get the access to watch this interview. So shall we proceed with the questions, Jamie?
Yes, sure.
So your firm is deeply rooted in the architecture and construction history of the space Mallorca. So how does this heritage influence your approach to contemporary Mediterranean architecture, and how do you balance tradition with modern functionality in your designs?
Yeah, so we live in a beautiful island in Mallorca in the Mediterranean. So for sure is an inspiration, right? So we always try to check how the vernacular architecture was and to adapt to the times of today, to the demand of today, because the style of, the lifestyle, the way we live the houses has changed. So the architecture has to change at the same time, but we still are on the same climate with more or less the same local materials and the same social, economical environment. So it's a challenge to adapt all of these kind of things, because especially we normally build houses in amazing locations, sometimes far from the cities. The environment, the place we are working is even more special. So we try to mix the local materials with and answering the same questions that time ago the vernacular architecture had, but sometimes the questions are different, and also the technology is different. For example, right now we can have bigger windows because we have better glasses. We have machines that can work against the climate. We have to check the environment and the sustainability at the same time. But if you are working in front of the sea, you want a big window to see those views. So yeah, it's a challenge, but always is respect and to adapt to the times of today.
Jamie, the Evoque project, integrating architecture with steeply sloped site presents both challenges and different type of opportunities. So how did you approach the design to ensure that the slope became an advantage rather than a constraint, particularly in elements like the basement entrance and the split level roof?
Yeah, sometimes the better projects starts from a problem to solve. In this project, the slope was something to solve, as many projects, because normally when you have a house with good views, is because you have climb a mountain and you have those views, so you have the slope. So, but the slope was like an alley from the beginning. So instead of forcing to do an artificial platform, so we decided to adapt the house to the natural terrain, following the urban rules that are very restrictive with the levels. So we can raise the level of the ground floor from the original terrain with limitations. So this circumstance, because the street was around 6 meters below the ground floor, so the result was that we did 2 levels of basement. So we did the main entrance, both cars and pedestrian, on the lower level of the basement, and we did and we split the 2 basements, and we did another level for a gym and wine cellar and other uses. And also, for example, on the ground floor, we couldn't do the terrace at the very same level of the inside. We had to step this terrace. So the main pool is in a lower level than the ground floor, but we wanted to have some view of a pool. So we decided to connect 2 different pools, a small one at the very same level of the ground floor, but then the water falls down to the other level where we have the bigger pool. So that was what we did in this project.
So the use of local materials such as the Sanyantri dry stone and the technological wood slates, they give a villa a very distinct Mediterranean identity. So how do you balance tradition with contemporary aesthetics to create a timeless design that still feels fresh and modern?
Same as the first question. So we tried to combine local materials with contemporary shapes and volumes. So sometimes the minimalistic volumes and designs are a bit cold. So we combine with very traditional materials like this dry stone from Santagny that we use outside and inside, and works very well to get this warm and cozy feeling. So it's always to blend tradition and technology with the sensitivity of those materials. And I think the combination is nice. And also with we try to put wood to warm these spaces that has sometimes a lot of glass and is so this combination is we look for.
So given your extensive experience in the urban development, so what are some of the biggest challenges that you have faced in balancing private investment interest with cultural and environmental integrity of a place?
We tried to help investors and to understand that the context sensitivity architecture doesn't conflict with the profitability. So we try to add value on the land. Sometimes because our land is limited, it's an island, we don't have so many empty plots. And sometimes our clients find the right place without empty plots. So he decided to buy an old house. So we demolish the house and we do a new one without adding the footprint of the island. So we maintain the original terrains and we just transform the existing lands where was built, but with houses that doesn't work anymore. And we try to improve the quality of these areas, these neighborhoods. So with trying to do better designs and also combining with a lot of connection with the plants, the trees. So at the end, this combination helps to understand that what we are trying is to improve this traditional situation.
So, JV, in the NV project, exposed concrete is both a structural and aesthetical element. So, given its complexity in execution, what was the biggest challenge that you had faced in achieving the desired texture, color consistency, and detailing while maintaining the home's warmth and livability?
Yeah, this project I like this project because I always wanted to do a concrete house, but it's difficult to find a client because when the client is a developer, they don't want risks. And concrete house demands a perfect execution because what you do, the structural shape is what you see. And you cannot then paint or nothing like that. So we did even full scale models to test the color, the texture, the joints, and we did a deep work together with the team, the builder, building more, the technical architect Iñaki Fernandez, and the developer Patrick Hansmeyer. So we did a deep work before building the house to make sure that what we are going to do is what we want and was a very interesting process. And we combined the concrete which is an industrial material with wood, with a lot of vegetation and with fabrics inside, and to make it more cozy and warm as a house has to be. Finally, the combination, I think, is what we were looking for.
The L-shaped design maximizes the views and the privacy while shaping the overall experience of the home. What specific considerations guided the placement of the openings, orientations, and the spatial organization of this balanced natural light and ventilation and privacy in the project?
Yeah, the shape is, I always start with the layout of the house. And before to start, what I'm trying is, well, first of all, to make a lot of questions to the client and to understand what he needs, but then what the land needs. So it's very important in all the projects like this. to go there and to see where is the sun, where is the views, where is the neighbors, what we want to see, what we don't want to see. So this L shape was a conclusion of this analysis, and was perfect because we find the perfect orientation, but at the same time with the L shape we were blocking the views from the neighbor that we don't want to see. But the south orientation was at the same time the nicer one, with the marina and some trees, and we achieved also the doing that shape to have a covered terrace that was in a combination with the pool area and the kitchen area, and the backside with a little bit of a slope, but we had some trees. So at the end, yeah, it was a conclusion of deep analysis of the situation.
So, Jamie, if I'm talking about the overall experience, you have a very expanded internationally projects like in the place Cadiz, Berlin, and India. So, how did you adapt your signature architecture philosophy to different culture and climatic contexts while maintaining the essence of your design approach?
The process is always the same. What changes is the question to solve. But we always start listening, especially the client, but also, as I say, the land and the situation. But because every place has its own climate, culture, rhythm, that defines the project. We maintain always the pursuit of the natural light, the formal simplicity, and the respect for the surroundings, trying to not impose an aesthetic, but to listen the land and all the limitations that we have, also the urban rules for sure. But yeah, the climate in India is completely different than our climate or the climate in Berlin, but the process is the same.
Son Llaneres. This project this blends contemporary elegance with the strict rural aesthetic regulations. So, what were the biggest challenges in maintaining a modern design language while adhering to the traditional constraints, and how did you navigate them?
Yeah, this house is in a rustic area in Mallorca, which is very, very, very restrictive in even aesthetical restrictions and limitations. And you have to have a land of minimum 14,000 square meters. So normally it's flat, almost flat, this kind of projects. So for one part, you don't have limitations with the land because you don't have the slope as we had in the other project, Evoque, and you have a lot of space. But then you have the restrictions that you need to have the 80% of roofs, sloping roofs, and the tones of the facades has to be ochre, and vertical proportion of the holes on the facade. So, but we at the same time, we try to not do the typical traditional house in rustic area. So we were playing in the limits of the rules to find something special for our clients, that they wanted something special and not same as other ones, and with a combination that they live abroad. So we wanted that when they come home, they feel that they are coming home. So that was some, a special point that we wanted.
Project, given that this home was designed as a retreat for a Spanish family living abroad. So, how did you tailor the design to evoke a sense of belongingness and a comfort for the family while ensuring it remained adaptable to their lifestyle needs?
Yeah, more or less what I have said. And also knowing that inside you can be more contemporary, but with the same tones and materials as outside, because outside we have those limitations, but we want the very flexible space inside. It's a holidays home, so just for a couple of months a year. So we were trying to find something that they were feeling like they are on holidays as well. And they call it the Casita de la Playa, beach house. It's not so close to the beach if you are in Mallorca, but for them was very close. So and also they were living in UK, and inside there are some details that if you check, you can make the relation between UK and Mallorca, which has a lot of differences, but you can find some similarities.
So, Jamie, moving to the last question for the day. So, looking ahead as an architectural journey of yours, as architecture continues to grow with the new technology, environmental changes, and the changing human needs, how do you see your firm's role in shaping the future of design while staying true to your core philosophy?
Yeah, we always have to adapt to the times and to the technology, but I think we have to keep the principal rules of the architecture that move the people, right? So, and to respect the context and the environment, and also, for example, sustainability is, we don't think that is something of today. It's something from always. In a good project of architecture, you have to be according to the sustainability, and starting with the passive elements, which are the orientation, the insulation, where you put the windows, the cross ventilation, and these kind of things, right? So I like to say that the project works well without any machine, but of course we have to listen the times and adapt and include technology. But a project doesn't have to be sustainability just for because a client has to spend money on a machine. So,
Jamie, that was the last question for the day. Thank you so much for giving your precious time. It was a pleasure to have you here. And don't forget to sign up to the Publish website. Thank you so much, Jamie.
Thank you so much.